Hi, first graders. Mrs. Griswold here. It was so nice to see some of your smiling faces the other day in your class meetings with your teachers. I really miss each and every one of you. I really hope that you and your families are staying safe and healthy during this time too. Today, we get to read a little bit together, and I'm really excited to share a book with you. Today, I'm going to read to you a fiction text. This book is called The Day the Crayons Quit. It is going to look a little bit different though because I don't have the book in front of me, so I'm going to be able to share my screen with you so you can read along with me. The book that we're reading, the author is Drew DeWalt, and the illustrator, who's the person who draws the pictures, is Oliver Jeffers. When I read this type of book, we know that we need to get our brain ready for this genre. We know that fiction has characters, where in this case it's a mix of people and crayons, and there's a problem and a solution. In today's story, we're going to be focusing on who's telling the story. The characters are different crayons, and they're all a part of Duncan's crayon box, but they all have different experiences. Have you ever had a time where you and someone you know, maybe a friend or a relative, experienced the same adventure and told other people about it? How did both of you feel about the experience? I want you to pause the video and take a second to think to yourself about a time that you may have had like this. When I was thinking, I remember the first time I went on a roller coaster, and and my sister was really excited, but I was really scared. So we went through the same adventure, but had different feelings about it. And when we told other people, she was telling people how excited she was, and I was telling people how frightened and scared I was. As we read today, we're going to be focusing on our learning goal. Today, I can identify who is telling the story at various points in the text. And when we're talking about some of these words, we know that that word identify means defined, and the word various just is another word for the word different. So when we're reading today, we're going to find out who's telling the story throughout different times in the text. We can also find out how each person is feeling while we're reading as well, since they each have a different experience. So let's get started. The Day the Crayons Quit by Drew DeWalt. One day in class, Duncan went to take out his crayons and found a stack of letters with his name on them. Hey Duncan, it's me, Red Crayon. We need to talk. You make me work harder than any of your other crayons. All year long, I wear myself out coloring fire engines, apples, strawberries, and everything else that's red. I even work on holidays. I have to color all the Santas at Christmas and all the hearts on Valentine's Day. I need a rest. Your overworked friend, Red Crayon. So if I stop and think to myself, who's telling the story right now? In this case, it's Red Crayon, and he's feeling pretty tired right now because he's been being used to have so many things colored by him. Dear Duncan, all right, listen. I love that I'm your favorite crayon for grapes, dragons, wizards, hats, but it makes me crazy that so much of my gorgeous color goes outside the lines. If you don't start coloring inside the lines soon, I'm going to completely lose it. Your very neat friend, Purple Crayon. So if we pause, who's telling the story right now? That's right, it's Purple Crayon. And how's he feeling about being used? Well, we know that he's a little bit frustrated because his owner, Duncan, is coloring outside of the lines. Dear Duncan, I'm tired of being called light brown and dark tan because I'm neither. I am beige and I am proud. I'm also tired of being second place to Mr. Brown Crown. It's not fair that Brown gets all the bears, ponies, and puppies, while the only things I get are turkey dinners, if I'm lucky, and wheat. And let's be honest, when was the last time you saw a kid excited about coloring wheat? Your beige friend, beige crowned. Beige crayon. Duncan, gray crayon here. You're killing me. I know that you love elephants, and I know that elephants are gray, but that's a lot of space to color in all by myself. And don't even get me started on your rhinos, hippos, and humpback whales. You know how tired I am after handling after handling one of those things. Such big animals. Baby penguins are gray, so are very tiny rocks, pebbles. How about one of those once in a while to give me a break? You're very tired, friend. Gray crayon. Dear Duncan, you color with me, but why? Most of the time I'm the same color as the page you are using me on. White. If I didn't have a black outline, you wouldn't even know I was there. I'm not even in the rainbow. I'm only used to color snow or to fill an empty space between other things, and it leaves me feeling, well, empty. We need to talk. Your empty friend, white crayon. Hi, Duncan. I hate being used to draw the outline of things that are colored in by other colors, all of which they're brighter than me. It's not fair when you use me to draw a nice beach ball and then fill in colors of the ball with all the other crayons. How about black beach ball sometime? Is that too much to ask? Your friend, black crayon. So if we stop right now, who are some of the characters that have been telling the story so far? That's right. So far, we've had red crayons, purple crayon, beige crayon, gray crayon, white, and black crayons. Those are the points of view that we've seen so far. Let's keep reading. Dear Duncan, as Green Crayon, I am writing for two reasons. One is to say that I like my workloads of crocodiles, trees, dinosaurs, and frogs. I have no problems and wish to congratulate you on a very successful coloring thing greens career so far. The second reason I write is for my friends Yellow Crayon and Orange Crayon, who are no longer speaking to each other. Both crayons feel they should be the color of the sun. Please settle this soon because they're driving the rest of us crazy. Your happy friend, Green Crayon. Dear Duncan, Yellow Crayon here. I need you to tell Orange Crayon that I am the color of the sun. I would call him, but we are no longer speaking, and I can prove I'm the color of the sun too. Last Tuesday, you used me to color the sun on your Happy Farm coloring book. In case you've forgotten, it's on page 7. You can't miss me. I'm shining down brilliantly on a field of yellow corn. You're pale and the true color of the sun, Yellow Crayon. Dear Duncan, I see Yellow Crayon already talk to you, the big whiner. Anyway, could you please tell Mr. Tattletale that he is not the color of the sun? I would, but we're no longer speaking. We both know I'm clearly the color of the sun because on Thursday, you used me to color the sun on both the Monkey Island and Meet the Zookeeper pages in your Day at the Zoo coloring book. Aren't you glad I'm here? You're pale and the real color of the sun, Orange Crayon. Dear Duncan, it's been great being your favorite color this past year and the year before and the year before that. I have really enjoyed all the oceans, lakes, rivers, raindrops, rain clouds, and clear skies. But the bad news is that I'm so short and stubby, I can't even see over the railing in the crayon box anymore. I need a break. Your very stubby friend, Blue Crayon. Duncan. Okay, listen here, kid. You have not used me once in the past year. It's because you think I'm a girl's color, isn't it? Speaking of which, please tell your little sister I said thank you for using me to color in her little princess coloring book. I think she did a fabulous job of staying inside the lines. Now, back to us. Could you please use me sometime to color the occasional pink dinosaur or monster or cowboy? Goodness knows they could use a splash of color. Your unused crayon, pink crayon. So if we pause right there, what other crayons have we heard from already? Or have we heard from? We know that Green Crayon has told a little bit of his story and he was pretty happy that he was used. We've heard Yellow Crayon's point of view, where he's told the story to, and he was annoyed, and so was Orange Crayon because they were fighting over who was the color of the sun. So we saw Yellow Crayon and Orange Crayons. They were telling the story. We heard from Blue Crayon, who was telling a part of the story in the text, and we've heard from Pink Crayon, who has told a part of the story in the text. And if we were looking at about how they were feeling, Blue was pretty tired because he was being used so much, and Pink Crayon was feeling a little bit lonely because his owner Duncan hasn't used him so much. So let's see what other characters we hear from in the story. Hey Duncan, it's me, Peach Crayon. Why did you peel off my paper wrapping? Now I'm naked and too embarrassed to leave the crayon box. I don't even have any underwear. How would you like to go to school naked? I need some clothes. Help! Your naked friend, Peach Crayon. Well, poor Duncan just wanted to color, and of course he wanted his crayons to be happy, and that gave him an idea. When Duncan showed his teacher his new picture, she gave him an A for coloring and an A plus for creativity. Now that was a fun book. Now that we finished reading, I want you to figure out who's telling the story on one of the last pages. Which crayon was it? Once you've identified that, I want you to turn and tell somebody in your family how that character was feeling about being in Duncan's crayon box. If you said Peach Crayon, you were right. Peach Crayon was telling the story on one of the last pages. And we know that he was feeling pretty embarrassed because he didn't have any clothes. How silly is that? Well, this story had a lot of different characters telling the story throughout the story. So in your packets at home for the week, you're going to see some questions asking what is blank's point of view about blank. And this just means how is that specific character feeling at different parts in the story, depending on who was telling that part, just like we read in this story. So my challenge for you is to take this new information and do a great job while completing your first week's packet. I know you're going to do such a great job. Talk to you later. Bye.